What is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining tonight. How you guys doing today? Hey, I want to give a shout out to some of the first arrivers who came today. Grace, what's going on? You're always here. You're always number one in my book, Grace. Super TA, what's going on, buddy? Backwoods, what's up, bro? How you doing? Striperman, the man of the hour. He is in the building. Lawn Whisperer, what's up, Justin? How you feeling, brother? Thanks for stopping by. Nice as lawn. What's going on, Francis? I see you're back for round 2. Thanks for coming by. Blank Man, what's going on, brother? Ron Henry, what's going on, brother? Thanks for stopping by. George Papa. Dude, George is an awesome guy. Thanks for stopping by, George. Haven't seen you in a while. So, guys, thanks again for stopping by. I see we got some new people in the building. If you guys don't know by now, my name is George. This is going to be an awesome podcast. Just to let you guys know, this is the best part about being in the lawn community is actually being able to spend it with you guys and meeting the awesome guys that are in the community, and their communication is awesome. And I feel privileged that I'm able to sit here and interview some of the best guys in the DIY lawn care community. So thanks a lot for stopping by. These guys, they have awesome lawns. To be honest with you, I think their lawns are much better than mine. So that's why I'm trying to learn some of their secrets, some of their tips. And I think you guys will find a lot of value in that too as well. So if you guys don't know, today I'm going to be interviewing none other than Striperman himself. He was one of the first guys to ever comment on one of my first videos. And he has been such an awesome guy in the lawn care community. He's been there since day one. I'm sure he's been there since day one for a lot of you guys too. So I'm sure he appreciates your support that you guys stopped by. So without further ado, I want to introduce Striperman. What's going on, Striperman? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, George? I want to thank you for this great opportunity. Hello to everyone who's watching tonight. It's an honor and a privilege to even be a part of this. So hope you guys enjoy the show because it's going to be a great one.
Oh, thanks so much, Keith. So what you been up to today, man? Getting ready for the podcast?
Yes. Yep. I did a Sunday mow because when it's nice out, I mow my lawn. That's what I do. I got a chance to mow. I got a chance to put down some liquid iron, lawn star liquid iron, and it stayed on for a couple hours, and then we had a great rainfall. So,
oh, nice.
Can't wait for the results.
Nice. Lucky. Over here in Chicago, we kind of been having a drought. It rained like once a few days ago, and before that, it was like a month before it rained. What's the temperatures like in New York right now? I'm kind of curious.
It was, the other morning it was like 31 degrees, but by the afternoon it was in the mid-40s. Today I think it hit close to 50. The sun actually came out, so anytime it's nice weather, I mow. It's like, I'll do it even during the week as long as it's a chance. Last year I mowed up until Christmas. It was so nice out.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I remember last year I was watching Ryan Norton. He actually put out a video on Christmas Day, I believe, and he was mowing his lawn. Hopefully we have that same thing this year, huh?
Oh, I would love it. Absolutely love it. I mean, nothing like a white Christmas, but when you're a lawn care guy, you got to mow.
You know what? I think the white Christmases are overrated. If it was up to me, I'd have it the weather it is right now, 24/7 for forever.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm looking at a few comments here. I see that, hey, Backwoods, 90 views in 2 hours, man. Good job, buddy. Congratulations on that, man. I'm happy. I'm going to check it out right after this live stream. I'll go check it out. Let's see. We got Lawn Whisperers said, ready for the show. Let me see if I could pull these comments up here. But yeah. And then Grace said, hi, guys. Hey, what's up, Grace? Blinkman. So Blinkman has a question. Maybe you can answer it, Striperman. Oh, actually, I see you already answered it. What lawn care products have you wasted the most money on? I saw this question yesterday on the Lawn Guardians podcast with the Lawn Whisperer. My same answer for that is no comment. How about you, Striperman?
Yeah, no, I mean, the products work. If you follow the label and do what you're supposed to do, it works. So they do work. I mean, obviously some work better than others, but overall, I haven't found anything that was a total waste of money.
It's not the products; it's who uses them, right?
exactly.
Ron Henry said, "Epic music, George." Oh, thanks a lot, Ron. I learned from the best. You got one of the best live streams right now. In the lawn care business. So I'm learning from the master over there. Let's see, George Papa, Big Dog, the King Striperman. Awesome. Well, all right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right into the content. I got a few questions for Striperman here. He's been around the block for a while now, and I think we could all learn a few things off of him. We were just talking earlier, me and him have a similar climate. We have a similar size lawn. So a lot of the tips that he's going to tell me today, I feel like I'll be able to use them. Last week on my podcast, I had Francis, and he was talking a lot about warm season lawns. So today we'll be talking a little bit about cool season lawns, so we can mix it up a little bit. So before we get started, Striperman, I wanted to ask you, how's your fall renovation going?
It went really well. I mean, I was very fortunate to have the right temperature, and for the cool season grass, it was in the 60s for most of the time, and it went really well. I stayed on top of the watering 3 times a day, 10 to 15 minutes each time, and the sun was out a lot, which was helpful. I actually didn't have any rain for 2 out of the 3 weeks, but just keeping up with the sprinkler system. I'm fortunate enough to have an in-ground sprinkler system. And it worked out well. I was thrilled with it. I couldn't ask for better conditions.
Yeah, the conditions
so overall, I'm very happy.
The conditions were definitely phenomenal. I threw down my grass seed a little early because I was throwing down some KBG, and I threw it down mid-August. We had 90 degrees while the seed was sprouting, and then as soon as it sprouted, the temperature started dropping, and we really couldn't ask for much better conditions, except it kind of got kind of cold kind of fast.
Yeah, it did.
With your lawn renovation, what kind of grass seed were you using? I forgot. I know you're a KBG guy.
Yeah. So what happened is the sod farm that I purchased my sod from 12 years ago, they also sell the seed for it. So originally, back in 2008, when I first put down the sod, there was 12 different cultivars of KGV, and now they changed it to 3. Off the top of my head, I don't remember exactly what the cultivars were, but I went along with their product because they grow it, they sell it. So I just went with that, and also it just helps with the blend because, unfortunately, even KGB has different colors within it, the cultivar, so I wanted to make sure it blended in. So it went well. I mean, they came up, it filled in, and right now I couldn't tell where I seeded and where I didn't.
Nice. So have you ever overseeded with KBG before in the past? And if so, I'm curious, how did it go for you? Because when I tried doing it last year, it didn't turn out so well.
Okay, so in 2018, there was a period where I was really busy at work and I didn't keep up with the sprinkling and the mowing and stuff like that. I had a bad fungus problem. So I did a renovation in 2018. I overseeded with the same seed, and it took a little longer that time. I wasn't using Next products or some of the other things that, Carbon X or some of the things I used this time. I was just using Lesco, starter fertilizer, and Milorganite. And it took a little longer, but it came in great. By October, by Halloween, it was back to where it was in spring form. So it does work. Back then I was mowing at 3.5 inches as opposed to 3/4 of an inch now. So I guess the taller grass kind of, shade a lot of the problems, but it eventually caught up.
Oh, nice. We got we got a question from George. He said, when do we get to see all those Long Island turf stripes?
Oh, yeah. So actually, George, I don't know if I changed my channel. George used to be a follower, but I haven't seen him recently, so maybe he's looking at my old channel, which doesn't exist anymore. For those who don't know, I used to be Long Island Lawns FK Striperman. That's been deleted. So if you look on just Striperman now on YouTube, you'll, if you want to resub, you'll see I did 1 or 2 videos so far, and you'll see the stripes, George.
Yeah, George and anybody else watching, if you guys don't know, Striperman, he closed down one of his accounts, but he actually opened up a new account. So just search up Striperman if you want to resubscribe. There's a link that I put in the description, also at the bottom of the page too. So make sure you guys go check that out. George said Keith had them dollar spots. Ooh, man. Yeah. Bling, bling, huh?
Yeah, no, actually that was a spin-off on I did a video where I put down dollar bills on the lawn and made it like it was dollar spots. So it was just something. It was a funny video I did, sometime last year.
Oh, nice. George said he subbed, so he'll be seeing those stripes soon. Ned G said the Chicago weather is like a yo-yo back in the 60s this week. Yeah, Ned, I heard it's about to warm up, so I'm looking forward to that for sure. Super TA, he said, I want to see that Allett in action. Hopefully you have a downer. You have a down or two left this year. Yeah, we're actually.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. Absolutely.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about the Allett mower coming up here. So there's a lot of things I want to know about the Allett mower. It seems like everybody's got these mowers these days. So I'm excited to ask you about that. Bermuda Boss, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Thanks for joining. Appreciate that, bud. James Dahl said, George, do you have any plans to do anything for leaf cleanup? Yes, I'm constantly cleaning it up with my lawnmower. I got a tree that just keeps on dropping leaves, so I'm out there like every other day trying to pick them up. All right, Keith. So, real quick, how did you get into lawn care exactly? When you first bought your house, were you heavy into lawn care since you were a kid, or is this something you stumbled upon, or what?
Okay, so I started very young. I was like 5 years old. Me and my older brother, we went to our first Yankee game. My dad took us for our birthday. We're 10 days apart in birthdays, not years, but in dates. So the first time I ever saw Yankee Stadium live and walked through the doors and went to the seats and saw this green lawn, because back then in 1962 I only had a black and white TV, so I never saw a lawn like that in person. So from that moment on, I was stuck. And every time we would take Sunday drives, wherever I went, all I would do is look at people's lawns. So I've been infatuated with lawns since I was like 5 years old.
Oh, awesome. That's a good story. Over here, I see Ned G. He said he just subbed your channel. He's asking if you're in Illinois too. Illinois. What am I saying? I'm from Illinois, and I'm calling it Illinois. No, he's actually in Long Island, New York. So. But similar weather. I think they got a little bit more mild weather than us, but similar.
Yeah.
So I said earlier, Striperman, you're like one of the first people that subbed my channel and actually started commenting on my videos, which tells me that you're pretty knee deep in the long game. How did you get so involved in it?
Okay, so I actually I was working for a Scott's Lawn Service in between jobs. My main job is I'm a cable TV contractor. I've worked in Manhattan since 1977, and I got laid off in 2003. So while I was looking for work, I'm thinking well, what do I want to do? I have a mortgage, I have 3 kids at home, and I got to do something to make money. So I figured, let me do something that I actually like to do. So I actually came across the Scott's Lawn Service was looking for techs. And although I had no experience with it, I've always loved doing lawn work. So I applied and got the job and stayed with them for 4 years. During that time, I started just looking up stuff, how to take care of lawns and stuff like that. And I looked on YouTube, and the first one, of course, was Alan Hain, LCN. And that started me off. Yep, exactly. Watched him and then everyone else to follow, and that's how it all began.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of us lawn care nuts, that's how we started. Something sparked our interest, and then we stumbled upon the lawn care nut, and here we are making live streams about lawns. It's a cute story, man. Over here, Ron Henry said, what's the lowest height of cut on your lawn that you ever did?
Half-inch. I did half-inch last year, right up until Thanksgiving, and it was great. Didn't have any problems with it, but the lawn isn't level. So what happened, I was starting to get scalp marks on it, and that's something I plan on doing next year. Using the Earthwise 7-blade and the Fiskars and the greatest. I had 3 manual reel mowers, and I was getting scalp marks on the high spots, and that's when I figured that half-inch is just too low. It just wasn't cutting it. So I moved it.
Wasn't cutting it literally.
Yeah, exactly.
So out of all the 3 manual mowers, I know you were heavy into the Fiskars mowers. Was that your favorite manual one you had?
It was, for the longest time, and that's when I added the striping kit to it. My first video I ever put out was April of last year, and it was about putting a roller on the Fiskars, and and that was fun because I was actually doing stripes with it. And I've since altered it by putting in a front roller and changing things up. And it cuts really well. It's a 5-blade, but it's a heavy duty. And my thinking is, if I was able to put electric motor on that thing, it would do just as good as some of these gas or battery-powered ones that are out there. That's how much I really like it.
So with the 5-blade, were you able to get a clean cut at a 1/2 inch?
It was rifling. It was doing the washboard, the rifling, all the different terms they use for it.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't spin fast. The cut rate wasn't there, so it wasn't spinning fast enough. And that's when I went to the 7-blade, and it helped a little bit. And there's ways around that by cross-cutting it, overlapping, going up and then back down the same thing. You can eliminate it, but it's a lot of extra work to get to that point. So
yeah. You know what? I could see it myself too. Like anytime I drop down my McLean, it's a 7-blade. I mean, it's a good cut, but I have to cut it at least twice, to make it like a perfect cut. But with the Greensmaster, it's an 11-blade, and I mean that stuff is just like butter, going across the lawn. So I know exactly what you're saying. Grace over here, she said, "What do your neighbors think about you mowing every day?" That's a good question. I have a lot to say about mine.
I was literally mowing every day during spring of this year. Last year was a transition, so I had been at 3.5 inches for years, 12, 15 years of doing it. And then I started watching Connor Wood, of course. When he started with the low, and I saw that, I was just like, I couldn't believe what it looked like. It was amazing. And then Ben Sims and Ryan Knorr and so on and so on. Shortcut Lawn. I saw all these guys. I'm like, I got to try it. Then Brett from Grasscapades, he was cutting his short, and I was, friendly with him and Jeremy back and forth, and we had this, back and forth batter about, tall grass, short grass, and I said, let me give it a shot, and I've been hooked on it ever since.
Nice, awesome. I want to give a shout out real quick to Backwoods Lawn Care. Thank you so much for the super chat, brother.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Oops, wrong button. Thanks a lot, buddy. I really appreciate it. Backwoods said, leave a like, folks. Yeah, if anybody watching this right now could leave a like, we all appreciate it. It helps us in the algorithm, helps all of us reach more people in the lawn care community. Backwoods, he said that he dropped his down to 3/16. Wow, that's low, bud. That's with your John Deere, I'm assuming, right? By the way, if you guys want to check out Backwoods Lawn Care, he made a putting green in his backyard. He's up north in Canada, so if you guys want to check out his channel too. Ron Henry said 1/2 inch nice. So I salute you, sir. Yeah, that's cool. Me personally, I dropped it down below a 1/2 inch, Keith, if you could believe it. I went down to 0.40 inches in one of my earlier videos. That was early in the spring. The temperature was like 55 degrees. And the lawn seemed to like it. So I might just keep on going down lower and lower. Who knows? We'll see when the temperature is cooler. Lawn Care Dabbler, what's going on, brother? Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Yeah. Orlando said, George, how you like the MP rotator above ground irrigation system? It's awesome, Orlando. I got the idea from Ryan Knorr in one of his videos, and I did it for my lawn renovation, and it worked out fantastic. I actually started off with an oscillating sprinkler and then some of those rotating orbit sprinklers. I can tell you the above ground MP rotator setup is miles ahead of that, so I definitely recommend it. Let's see. So Lawn Care Dabbler asks, what's a good starter reel mower that you would recommend, Keith, since you're the master of the manual reels?
Okay, so I guess, well, I was partial to the Fiskars because that was my first one. I did a lot of research on the ones that, I like the idea that you could, when you cut it, you could throw the grass forward or backwards. It has an option of going both because that lid you can pull forward and back.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and then it comes with a grass catcher. The grass catcher goes on the front. So you can actually throw the grass in front of you or behind you. I didn't like the ones behind you because it would end up just all over your feet and make a mess. And
oh, yeah.
So, but I'd be honest with you, the Earthwise, it's only 16 inches wide, but that 7-blade is pretty amazing. I was using that daily and taking off, an 1/8 of an inch. It's just amazing how clean it cuts. The only thing with real mowing, whether it be gas, power, battery, or even manual, is you have to stay on top of it. You can't go let it more than 2 or 3 days during the growing season because then you're cutting off more than 1/3. Plus,
Yeah.
it just becomes sloppy. I mean, I did it because, I have a small lawn. Also, being home from work during COVID, I had the opportunity to work, do it daily and then or every other day. But, as times get busy, it's just hard to do it. And if you go 3 or 4 days, you're not doing it justice.
Yeah, definitely. With the manual reels, I learned real fast. You got to do it consistently, so you're only cutting off the tips,
Absolutely. And it's easy. I mean, people used to say, "Oh, how can you push that thing?" It's how do you do it? It's very simple. Once you do it daily or every other day, you're taking off very little. Even with the thickest lawns, you can push through it. It's when you go 3, 4, 5 days, yes, then it's going to be a problem. But if you stay on top of it, and not everyone has a small lawn or the time to do it. You know what I mean? I'm older now. My kids are grown up. I don't have all that extra stuff that slows you down. So I just have the time to do it.
Nice. Well, I feel like a lot of us right now have a lot of time. Lake House Lawn Care. What's up, Kyle? Thanks for joining. So I got a question here from Grace. She said, "What made you go to an Alllet?" So that kind of ties into what I want to start asking you next, Keith. Tell me about your new Alllet.
Okay, so my goal originally was just to keep on with the manuals and show people that you don't. One of my things in my original YouTube channel was you don't have to have expensive equipment to have a nice lawn.
Yep.
I have a deep Black & Decker, trimmer and battery trimmer and a blower. My lawn mower is a $200 lawn mower, and yet I was trying to keep up with the guys with the really nice lawns, and I was doing okay. But like I said, one of the big issues was the cut rate and the rifling, which took a lot more time to stay on top of. So Clint, the Neighbor Dominator, and Albert Shortcut Lawns had both gotten the Alllet, and they loved them. And, it is a big expense. I mean, I had to trade in my youngest kid to get it. So, because it was just a lot of money, but I figured I just only have to do it once. And, it's great. I got the battery one. I didn't want to deal with because the lawn is small. The oil, the gas.
It's 17 inches, right?
It's 17 inches. Yep.
I mean, a 17-inch battery unit, I feel like, that's all me and you need. It's not like we're over here, doing crazy stuff.
No, you're right.
Real quick, I did want to say, by the way, guys, I forgot to see this. Lake House Lawn Care, we're going to be doing a podcast next week, me and him. So if you guys want to tune in, we'll be posting up a reminder here pretty soon on YouTube. If you guys want to subscribe, that should be fun. So I'm excited for that too, Kyle. And then Ron Henry, he said, I used to cut a 12,000 square foot lawn with a 20-inch Scott's manual push wheel. Ron, actually, I remember those videos. I don't know if that was, I don't think it was last year. I think it was maybe 2 years ago you were doing that on your channel. I was watching back then too. I was just a little shy to comment, I was one of the lawn care lurkers, but I remember when you used to do that and you used to say nothing but good things about it too. I remember that. And then you got your True Cut, and then you went to the Greensmaster more recently. So, I remember that. But that's some dedication. Cutting every other day, 12,000 square feet with a Scott's manual reel mower. Man, that's some true lawn dedication right there. And I remember seeing it in your videos too. You used to just be pushing it in your videos like it was nothing. So props to you. So, yeah. So Brandon got a good question over here. He said, what made you choose Allett versus a much cheaper used greens mower unit? And that's a good question because me personally, I was struggling when I first got my first real mower, whether I was going to get like a McLean or something like that, or whether I was going to get a greens mower. What's funny is that I personally actually ended up getting a greens mower first, and then I got a McLean after. I know it's kind of the opposite of how it should be, but with you, Keith, what made you get the Allett versus a greens mower?
Okay, so one of the things was, and I have plenty of golf courses around here. I mean, some of the best ones, Bethpage, but the problem is I don't have a garage. and the sheds are filled up. And I understand with a used greens mower, even though it would have been cheaper, most of the time to get one, you have to do some work to it. I'm limited for where I can work on and stuff like that, and what was going to be done. I was trying to keep away from gas because I wanted to originally either do it early morning or when I came home late from work, I wanted to mow. So I went with something that was battery operated, and the Allett, the Swordsman is just too expensive, and I said, let me just go for the Allett. It was a little bit cheaper, and it fit my needs.
Yeah. I'm going to be in the market here coming up pretty soon for one of those cartridge reel type systems because, the greens mower, it's a little big for my piece of property. It's a little heavy, and if I'm going out there every day, it's kind of hard to maneuver. So I don't know if it'll be an Allett or a Swordman or if another company comes along. I was actually thinking recently, how awesome would it be if Toro made a residential reel mower that had a cartridge system that you can get serviced at any Toro dealership? Would that not be the coolest thing in the world?
Absolutely would. With the competition out there, I wouldn't be surprised if they do try to come up with something because Allett just took this country over by storm. I mean, I had to wait 3 months. I ordered it. It took me 3 months to get it.
Oh, really? How heavy is that machine you got there, by the way?
I think it's like 80, 85 pounds, which is nothing. I mean, I use it on, wet grass, like in the morning dew. And if I have to give a secret out tonight, this will be my stripe secret. Well, if you have a reel mower, whether it be manual or whatever, if you mow on the morning dew, you get the best stripes.
Oh, I believe it.
Not soaking wet, but just morning dew, and the stripes come out perfect. I do most of my mowing early morning.
I absolutely believe it. A lot of people, they don't like mowing when it rains outside, but what's good about the Greensmaster is not only do you get better stripes after it rained, lightly rained, nothing too crazy.
Nice.
You get better stripes, and it just looks better, after the rain. And it kind of has a leveling effect too. Since the ground is moist, it kind of levels out the ground as well. So I really like that about using a reel mower when it's raining.
Absolutely, George. And here's another thing. So when you're using a rotary, everyone used to say, don't cut the grass when it's wet. But with a reel mower, even the manual ones, they cut so precise that there's no fraying of the blades. There's nothing. I've cut wet grass, not like you said, not soaking wet, but a morning dew or something like that.
Yeah.
I've never had a problem. It cuts beautifully, and it's a little more of a cleanup. So you got to hose it down and blow it off, but not the grass, the mower. But it's a beautiful cut when it's slightly wet.
Let's talk about fertilizer real quick. Francis has a question. He's like, what's your fertilizer regimen look like? Do you switch it up like he does, or do you stick to one product, or how does that work?
Okay, so I use for the NPK, you go with a granular, which is I've been using Carbon Earth Carbon X.
Nice.
I used that, and I used that last year and then also this year. And then for my liquid ferts, I've been using the next product. Use the BioSim pack, and I've been happy with it. And the only thing I go off on is I use the liquid iron from Lawn Star. I like that iron product. I haven't tried any of the other next products like Green Pop, any of that stuff. Just the BioSim pack. And I actually threw Milorganite down for the first time this year. I did it once. I did it right before Halloween. I figured I had to throw that down. Yeah,
when it comes to Milo, I usually just drop it down once heavy per year and then call it a day. Luckily, my FOS levels haven't been off the charts, but I have noticed that they're like optimal, and that's what I've been doing. I've been throwing it down once a year, and they seem to stay at optimal, so I think I'm just going to keep doing that. Over here, Ron Henry said, looking back, it was insane that I used the push mower on that much of a property. Don't do that. Yeah, it was. But you know what? It's dedication, Ron. And if you didn't do that and you didn't see how awesome it looked, you probably wouldn't have gotten into the True Cuts and the greens mowers and everything like that. So everything happens for a reason, Blank Man, what are your top 3 new lawn channels, Keith?
Oh, wow.
Not in any particular order. What are some 3 new ones that stick out to you?
That's a good question, man. Because I at one point I was over 100 until I stepped away for a while. Recently, God, I don't know if be honest with you. I only went back to the ones that I was watching before, so it's hard to say. I haven't really followed any of the new ones out there. I mean, even the new guys have done great and passed me up in no time. I mean, guys like yourself and dadding all day long, and even the lawn shark guys that when I was doing it, they first came up. You guys first came up. I'm still following you guys, but I don't know of any, to be honest with you, recently that I've actually, subbed any new guys. So that's a fault of mine. I got to start doing more research.
Yeah, as for me, Blink Man, I haven't really seen any new guys lately. Out of the ones you said, Lake House Lawn Care, he's fairly new. Well, me and him, we started around the same time, give or take a month, and he's awesome. Kyle's a good friend of mine. Like I said earlier, he'll be on the podcast next week, so I look forward to that. I would say he's probably one of the newest ones I know, and I know Lawn and Life. He's awesome. He's a funny guy, always posting some funny stuff. And Lawn Envy, I think I've seen a couple videos from him. Let's see. Kyle said the Allett stripes are top notch. Yes, they are. How much does that Allett mower, how much does it weigh, by the way?
It's 85 pounds. I mean, if I can lift it, then it's not too heavy. Put it that way.
Oh, okay. It's so yeah, that's a considerable difference from the Greensmaster. That thing's over 300 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, if you're not like, built and you got a little bit of muscle on you, you're gonna have a hard time maneuvering that thing around. Let's see. Super TA cartridge sold me. I think that's what's gonna sell me too. Kyle said Toro makes a battery powered reel. Oh, really? Whoa, I didn't even know they made a battery powered reel mower. Did you?
No.
Wow. Is it residential or commercial? Is it like a Greensmaster or what? I'm kind of curious. I'm gonna look into that. Thanks for letting me know. Watching Pete Stripe with that new Allett is off the charts. That's what Scott O'Hare said. Also, Ryan Norris. I think we could all admit Ryan Norris has one of the nicest lawns on YouTube. Him and Nice AZ Lawn, which is right underneath this comment for sure. He said Greensmaster is 200 pounds. Lake House Lawn Care, he talked about worm castings. Do you have a lot of worm castings, Keith? Because I do.
Yes. I noticed that in late spring there was, and it slowed down a little bit during the summer, and then it picked up again now. It's been raining recently, and I just, not much you could do about it. I mean, worms are a good thing. Unfortunately, they leave a mess behind, but I just, you notice it more obviously when you cut short, but there's not really much you could do about it. Yeah,
I've been experimenting with different ways to get rid of them. The best thing that I've found that works for me, and if any of you guys have any other ideas on how to get rid of them, let me know, is I usually just let them dry and I just rake them as much as I can to try to break them up. That's what I do. But I know on the golf courses they use chains to knock them down and all sorts of stuff. So I might have to look into that next season. Let's see. Yeah, Lawn and Life said he loves Lawn Star Iron. So I wanna ask you, Keith, do you have any tips for anybody who's looking to buy a reel mower? Anybody who might be watching?
Yeah, do your research. Get one that's affordable. That meets your obviously meets your your means. And if you're gonna go with there's so many good ones out there. The gas powered. There's so many factors. It's hard to say. I like the Allett only because the battery powered one, like I said, early morning, later in the evening, whatever. It is a little bit pricey if you want to start smaller. There are other options out there for sure. It's really hard to say, but definitely do your research. Depends on the size of your property. Depends on what type of grass you have. That's big too. So there's a lot of factors. But
real quick, I want to give a shout out to Ron Henry. Thank you so much for the super chat, Ron. He said, for the mower maintenance and the future upgrades fund. Thank you so much. As you know, Ron, sometimes when it comes to this lawn care stuff, the equipment could get kind of pricey. So I definitely appreciate the support, bud. Oh, and by the way, Bush League Lawn stopped by. What's up, man? How you doing? Thanks for coming by. But so far you're enjoying the Allett more?
Oh yeah, it's great. It absolutely is. I like the split wheel in the back when you make turns. It has like 5 different speeds, and that's something that was really weird. So I've never had a mower in my past, whether it be even rotaries that were self-propelled. I always pushed everything myself. So then when I had the manuals, obviously you had to. So when I got this, it was weird because, it has speeds on it, but I actually walk faster than its fastest speed. So, because with the manual, it's all leg work. So I just found it funny, and I'm actually walking slower now with this than I did with my manual one.
So is there anything you think that the Allett can improve on? Because I'm seriously thinking about getting one.
Let's see. I mean, I wish the prices of the I love the idea of the cartridges. It's really expensive. So I probably won't be getting any of them anytime soon. Even with the scarf fire and stuff like that, I've noticed like the Greenworks or the Sunjo, they work so well. And I had a Greenworks for like 3 years now.
Yeah.
That I don't know if I'll use any of the cartridges because I already have other means.
Yep.
But 17 inches, a little narrow. I was used to 18 to 21. But even when you're doing stripes, so if you double up on it, it's fine. And like I said, a small property is not a problem.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being honest with me. I'm still a little stuck between exactly which ones, I'm thinking about getting for myself. But Lawn and Life said Sonny Bermuda has a great Bermuda lawn. He cuts it with an Allett. Oh, yeah. He's got a different one from you, right, Keith?
Yeah, he has, I believe his is it might be the Kensington or something. It's like a 20-inch gas-powered one. He has a big property. So he needs something that's going to, the batteries, one of the downsides, they last about 35 minutes or so. So even on our small properties, when you're doing striping, you like to go over it 2 and 3 times to really burn it in. So it can run out if you stay on it too long.
Hey, the Lawn Whisperer asked, how much of a difference does a few inches make?
Between friends.
It makes all the difference in the world, he says. Lake House Lawn Care, he said, better grass, Cubs or Sox? Well, I don't know exactly what grass they're using. If you do, pitch into me, but you already know, Kyle, I'm a Cubs fan, and I know you're a Sox fan. I mean, that's all right. We're both from Chicago. What's funny, if you guys don't know, me and Kyle, we live pretty close to each other, but he lives more towards the north side of town, and I live more towards the south side of town. So I live more towards like the Sox stadium, and he lives more towards the Cubs stadium. But he's a Sox fan, and I'm a Cubs fan, which I find pretty interesting how that works. But hey, only in Chicago, right? Let's see. DVD Patch. He said, I'm a DJ in Alani. What's up, DJ? DJ. Yeah, I used to be a DJ too in my high school days, buddy. I used to spin the hottest, freshest house tracks in the street. I'm from Chicago, so we got some of the sickest house music, and it's the birthplace of house music. So salute to you, DVD. Backwood said, that's what she said. Let's see. Prices go north real fast after the Kensington model. Yeah, they definitely do. So let's jump a little bit off from the real mowers, Keith. I know that you have a nice KBG lawn. What would you say is like the number one tip that you can give our viewers to getting a nice lawn?
Consistency of being on it. I've found that in the old days, what I would do is I would mow once a week on a Saturday when I had time, and that was it. And even though the grass is tall, when you're mowing once a week, it's really not helping the lawn. It grows all week with rain or sun or whatever, and then you're just cutting off, a good part of it, and that's it. What I found was frequent mowing, walking the lawn, seeing the problems, seeing what things coming up. If you have the opportunity, not everyone does, but that's a huge benefit, just staying on top of the lawn and looking it over. It makes all the difference in the world.
So this is only my second podcast that I've been doing so far, but I could already see that there's a consistent theme that consistency is the key to having a nice lawn.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can't. I'm sorry?
No, I was going to say you're absolutely right. I equate it to, if you were a person that wanted to work out, you don't just do it on the weekends. You don't do it, you have to stay on top of it. You got to, exercise different parts of the body. it's the same thing with lawns. You have to stay on top of it. You don't do it once a week and expect it to be, in shape.
Man, I work out a lot, Keith. I work out 5 times a year, and I feel great. No, just kidding. Actually, I'm not, but we'll save that for another podcast. Lake House Lawn Care said the Cubs hired Roger Bossard, the White House head groundskeeper, to do their drainage, irrigation, and field. Both are 100% KBG. Oh, nice. Wow, look at this guy. This guy's got the history of the ballpark stadiums. I was just watching Ryan Knorr's video where he was touring I believe it was University of Minnesota's field.
Yeah.
And they also use 100% KBG over there, which I found interesting. I mean, I know KBG fills in and it's regenerative, but how exactly do they get things to fill in so fast? Exactly, like whenever there's damage to the turf. I don't know. For some reason, I always thought that the sports fields like to use the perennial ryegrass. Do you know how they're able to do that?
Well, actually, to be honest with you, what's really funny is here on Long Island, the sod farm that I got my sod from was actually the ones who provided the sod for Yankee Stadium. So when they rebuilt the stadium in 2009, they used their sod. So I said to myself, well, if it's good enough for Yankee Stadium, it's good enough for my lawn. And I've actually been using that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And does it sprout fast?
Well, the seed that takes a little while. This year it actually did it like in the 8th day. It was 7th, 8th day. I actually got some germination. But as far as spreading, what they do in those fields, especially on football fields, they replace the parts that go bad. They cut it out and just put a new piece of sod in. Because especially in football, they're only playing once a week.
Yeah,
it will take within a week. The baseball stadiums do the same thing. When they're on the road, they fix the patches that are bad.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, they just replace the sod in those areas, and it takes pretty quickly. And they actually sell a low-cut sod and a regular. Their regular is like 2 inch, and their low-cut is like 3/4 of an inch. You can buy either one. You can buy the short version or the long version. And that was one of my mistakes. When I bought mine originally, it was the tall version.
Yeah.
So it took almost a whole year to bring it down to the point where I cut it low. Because when you can't just start cutting low and expect it to look good. It took almost the whole summer last year to get it to actually look good.
Yeah. I made that mistake the hard way. When I first got my Greensmaster, I was cutting my lawn. I was listening to Lawn Care Nuts advice to cut my lawn at 5 inches. And when I got my Greensmaster, I was like, screw it. I'm just going to start cutting right away. And I cut at like 0.6 inches and it just bogged up my mower instantly. It didn't cut. So I slowly brought it down too. I wouldn't say it took me a year, but I slowed it down slowly. I got it down slowly, and thank God it started looking good eventually. You spent a whole year lowering yours?
Yeah, I had started like I see Brett actually just jumped in on here now.
Oh, what's up, Brett? How you doing? Yeah. Oh, I got deja vu. This is like yesterday's live stream. Thanks a lot for stopping by, dude. Appreciate it.
So once we were back and forth with jarring each other, tall grass, short grass, and it took a while. Like I said, being at 3.5, you just can't cut it down, and it's not going to look good. It took me a while, and then I'm thinking, okay, so maybe it needs this. So I put this down, I put that down. I actually did too much, and then after talking to a couple of people, like just slow it down. It will work out fine. It will eventually fill in and look good. So. It just took a while, but I had no patience. I wanted it to be green at 3.5 inches, and I wanted it to be green at 3/4 of an inch, but it didn't work that way.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to Brett's Grass Capades. Thanks for the super chat. He wants me to say this: #Whisperer sucks. Yes, Brett does not suck. Whisper sucks. So let's see over here. I'm trying to find. Francis asked me, what direction does your lawn face?
It faces west, so it's a west exposure. I have sun.
Mine does too, actually. Now that I think about it.
Yeah. So
yeah, it faces
sun almost
west
all day long.
Which kind of sucks because I feel like my stripes they're usually better in the morning time. How about you? How about you?
Exactly. Same thing. The best is around between 10 and 11 o'clock.
Yeah, me too.
Once it gets past to a point, and I like to do the stripes horizontal, left, from my lawn to the neighbors, not out to the street because it's so short. It's only like 35 feet long, but it's 60 feet long. So I always go with the longer area. So it doesn't look good in late afternoon, only in the early morning.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel, because you want to angle it towards the street a little bit so people could actually see the stripes, because when you're mowing at like a half an inch and the sun is, rising in the east and setting in the west, it's kind of hard to see the stripes. So, we gotta pay extra special attention to figure out how to get those domination stripes, right?
Absolutely.
Hey, the lawn whisperer said I had $5.01 ready until he said Whisperer sucks. Okay, Whisper. Okay, Whisper, you don't suck. So, wink, wink. No, I'm just kidding. Brett says, fake news, Justy. Fake news. Okay, yeah, so we were talking about how you threw down the Lawn Star liquid iron. I know the Lawn Whisperer, I've seen him use it a lot in his videos to get that dark green up. How long have you been using it? Because I personally bought some on Amazon Prime Day. It was $34 for a gallon on Prime Day. I don't know how much you paid, but regardless, how did you like the results?
Oh, it's great. Absolutely. I love it. Same thing. I think the first time I bought it from Amazon, and then actually this past week, Lawn Star actually sent me 5 bottles of out of appreciation for following them on Instagram and stuff. They actually sent me 5 bottles of stuff, and 2 of them were the Lawn Star. So I had to throw it down today, post Halloween, but I had to give it a shot. I love this stuff.
Yeah. As far as iron goes, this year I've only used ferrous sulfate, which worked pretty good, but I threw down some feature a few weeks ago in my backyard. And, I heard the hype about feature. Everybody was talking about it. How, on the lawn forum, people were ranting and raving how it makes your lawn super green and dark green. Let me tell you, Keith, this stuff is the real deal. It made my lawn super green in the backyard. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I mixed 1.5 ounces in 1 gallon of water, and I sprayed it down my backyard. In like 2-3 days, my whole lawn like transformed.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got to get that a shot. You know what? I was actually thinking, I don't have a backpack sprayer, so I bought a cheap one years ago from Harbor Freight, and it was a 4 gallon, and I was like, yeah, this is no good. I don't need 4 gallons for, 1,800 square feet. So I don't have any. I've been using just the dialed spray, the Ortho, that one. And then, but for the iron, what I did was I had some hydrotane, and when that bottle ran out, the quart-size bottle, there was the hose hookup, I just put it in there and spray out of that one. And I actually like the way it comes out, and I haven't had any problems with it.
So Ned asked, do you have to perfectly level your lawn to use a real mower, manual or otherwise?
No.
No, you don't. Sorry. But go ahead.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I wasn't know who's asking, but my lawn isn't level. By no means. And as long as you keep it like 3/4 inch, an inch and above, the manual reel mowers and now even the Allett, it's fine. I mean, you see the lows and the highs, but the grass is good. I mean, any lower and it would definitely, be effective, but not a problem yet.
And Brett actually mentioned something too worth noting. He said you don't need it to be perfectly level, especially if you have a roller on the front, because it'll help you span the height on the low spots. Totally agree. And I actually learned that the hard way as well, because my lawn wasn't super level. And when I would mow like at a 1/2 inch with my Greensmaster, for the most part, it mowed pretty well. I wouldn't say it was the most enjoyable mow in the world. But then when I got the McLean, I used that on the side of my house, and that definitely wasn't level, and I didn't have a bar on it. So it was dipping, just kind of like a rotary mower. If you go into like a little dip, you'll end up scalping it a lot. And, it didn't work out. So if you have like a McLean or any of those other type of mowers that have wheels on them, you're definitely going to have to do some leveling. But if you have a bar on there, like Brett said, you definitely, I mean, you don't need it, but you're going to want to do it. You know, once you catch the real bug, you're going to want to start leveling. That's just how it goes. And once you start leveling, you're going to want to do it every spring and every fall. It just kind of becomes addicting. So forewarning to you, buddy, but it's awesome. I wouldn't have it any other way. Francis said, would you ever plant sissy grass?
Never say never, right? Well, I remember telling Brett and Jeremy years ago, I will never go short. I'll never go short. So it's hard to say, but I just love the KGB. I've been having it so long, and you know, I know ryegrass can get dark and it grows fast and it stripes well, but until something changes here, I'm going to stick with the KGB.
Real quick, I want to give a super special shout out to Scott O'Hare. Thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. I appreciate it. He said, thank you, George, and everyone in the lawn care community. I appreciate everyone. Thank you so much, Scott. I'm so glad, we got a full house tonight. We got some of the lawn care heavy hitters in here tonight, and I appreciate all of them too, because they contributed to a lot to me getting into lawn care, and I'm sure a lot of the other people watching, Lawn Whisperer, Brett, all these guys, they pumped out videos and they motivated us to make more videos. So thank you so much for the super chat, Scott. I appreciate it. Let's see. But to answer your lawn too, Francis, I love sissy grass myself. The only reason, I think I mentioned in one of my live streams earlier, and the only reason I did 100% KBG in my lawn is not so much that I love KBG and I'm a KBG like diehard fan, but I just wanted to get the repairing effects from it, because I felt like I was always like damaging my lawn, whether I was turning my greens more too hard or, there was like areas that wouldn't fill in. So I just wanted to do KBG, and who knows, maybe I'll overseed with perennial ryegrass in the future, maybe not. But I definitely I love perennial ryegrass myself too. So we were talking about the Lawn Star liquid iron products. What would you say is like your absolute favorite product to use?
I'd probably say Carbon X. I saw a lot of other stuff I want to try. The Pro Pete looks really good. I like the small prills. But as far as the Fert, I've been good with it. And, a 50-pound bag on an 1,800 square foot lawn lasts a while. So until I use it up, I don't know if I'll, try anything else. It just becomes a lot of fertilizer that I don't need.
Yeah. With the Carbon X, I feel that's like our current trend right now in the lawn care community. Believe it or not, I personally never tried it. But I'm definitely going to try some coming up next season, because it seems to be everybody's favorite fertilizer. Are the prill sizes small on the Carbon X, or are they like normal size? No?
Normal size, yeah. I almost took it to a point where I was going to grind it up or do something to grind them and make them smaller so they, were tiny. I was trying to come up with another way of doing it. But no, they're normal size. But like I said, the Pro Pete, I want to give that a shot, but it just, I don't have a lot of storage, and, because the lawn is so small, 45 pounds here, 50 here would last me for years. I don't know what the shelf life is on these things. So yeah,
I may just try the Pro Pete next season, because I'm looking for like the greens grade prills, because I feel like the bigger prills, especially when I had my lawn before I did my renovation, anytime I throw like a 10-10-10 on there or something like that, because with the all-purpose fertilizers, those prills they're so big you can knock someone out with them. I used to throw that down on my lawn and they would just sit on my grass, and I was like, what the heck? And I just have to keep watering it in, and then I get some small places that would die. So I know when it comes to this Midnight KBG that I planted, it's going to be super tight knit, So I think I'll probably go with the Pro Pete, because the only greens grade fertilizer that I could buy in person around here is Milorganite, the greens grade one. So I might just try the Pro Pete too, or who knows? Maybe Matt will come out with a greens grade Carbon X too as well.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
George said you have to try out the Hybrix Pasture Fert. Have you ever heard of that? I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, actually, Pete Denny, from on DCI Turf. I think he's used high bricks, and I know George has mentioned that before. He's used it himself. I'd like to give that a shot. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would definitely try it. I'm always down to try out new things. Let's see. Nepo Mo says, why don't girls like grass as much as guys do? I think, yeah, I don't know. My wife doesn't mind the grass. She actually likes me out there in the grass. You know, like I said in my earlier podcast, at least she knows I'm not out walking the streets being a hoodlum.
Right.
So what product that you've used do you think made the biggest impact in your lawn?
Good question.
So not something that you throw down consistently, but something that makes the biggest impact.
Let's see. I'll be honest with you. Malorgan, I still results are pretty quick. I threw that down and it rained the next day and it was like green the next day. I couldn't believe it. Now, you know, it's a 2,500 square foot bag and I only have 1,800, but I put the whole thing down and within 2 days it's like dark green. It still works. I mean, I wouldn't use it all the time, but every once in a while it works. That's all I can say. It works.
You know, and I agree with you 100%. Malorganite was like, you know, it was my go-to for a while before I started moving on to other things. And so, I mean, it's a classic, and I just wish it wasn't so hard to get, you know. It's hard over here. So now that we have a bunch of the heavy-hitting lawn tubers here in the chat room, I got to ask you, Keith, who do you think has the best lawn on YouTube? Just to reiterate, not your favorite YouTuber. Who do you think has the best lawn on YouTube?
That's tough. Okay. So...
Not to put you on the spot or anything.
Yeah, no, not at all. Let's see. Well, my first impression, well, obviously LCN was the first guy I followed, and when I remember the first time I watched him, I was like, wait, he's putting down stripes? And this was like in 2009. I think I started watching in 2009, 2010. I'm like, I was doing stripes like in 2006. I actually Googled how to put stripes down, and Checkmate was like Checkmate / Big League Lawns. They had a roller. I was like, this is how it's done? So I was doing it back in 2006. So when I saw him doing it, I thought I was the only crazy moron that would do it, you know, to a homeowner's lawn. Now I saw him, I was like, I guess there's more nuts out there than I thought. So he's always been a big, you know, I loved his, you know, lawn when he was in Indiana and all that stuff. But I'd have to say between Connor, Ben Sims, Ryan, Brett, and Shortcut Lawns, those guys, those lawns are just amazing. And I strive to be as good as theirs. I haven't got there yet, but that's my goal. Those guys' lawns are amazing. Yeah, I can't pick between them. I'd have to say they're all, you know, for short lawns, there's some good tall lawns, you know, Pete, Denny. There's a lot of guys with tall grasses, but those guys with the shortcut lawns, those are my favorites. Yep,
and I totally agree with you. I would say my top ones, not in any particular order, but I would definitely say Brett. You know, I mean, I've said this before. Your RPR looks fantastic, and I think it's definitely one of the best ones on YouTube. Ryan Norris, perennial ryegrass, awesome. Like you said, Albert at Shortcut Lawn. I mean, that guy is like the GOAT when it comes to lawn care. That guy will have my sub forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's got awesome. I like the things he's doing with his trials and his testing. And then also Francis, Nice As Lawn. You know, he was the first guy on my podcast, you know. And I didn't choose him first for no reason. He's got a sick lawn. Awesome. Amazing. Yeah, and now with his perennial ryegrass through the winter, it's just going to be off the charts. Oh, by the way, I want to give a shout out to Backwoods Lawn Care. Thank you so much for the super chat. He said Scott's fertilizer works great in my green. 100% agree. I love the Scott's Lawn Food, the 34 or the 31.4. The 3104, that stuff is fantastic, and the prill sizes are kind of small too, so I definitely like that. I throw that down all the time. Let's see. Hey, we got Jason Sieberlich. What's up, Jason? We got our lawn in the building. He said you gotta move up to Milwaukee area. Milo is always available and cheap. Yeah, maybe I should. Milwaukee's not that far. It's only about an hour away from me, even closer to Kyle. So Kyle said, I've been rolling stripes since 5th grade. Wow, man. Salute to you, dude. That's a long time. I pay someone to clean my house. Wow. DVD got all the money over here, money bags. He pays someone to clean his house, but he doesn't pay anyone to touch his lawn. That's his territory. Scott O'Hare said his favorites are Brett, Ryan's, Connor's, Whispers, and Lake House. Agree. Those are all top-notch lawns.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're coming down here to the bottom of the chat. We've been live for about, it's been over an hour now. So real quick, I want to ask you, can you tell the viewers where they can find you if they don't know where to find you on YouTube? I know that you have a new account and also on Instagram and things like that.
Yeah, so for YouTube, it's just Striperman. Just type in Striperman. Make sure you put 1 P, not 2 Ps, because then you get some really stuff you don't want to see. and then for Instagram, I'm not on Facebook or Instagram. It's just LI Lawns FKA Striperman, and those are the 2 places I am.
Awesome. Hey, Keith, I really want to thank you for stopping by. This was a lit podcast. We had a lot of cool people here in the lawn. Bermuda Boss said your lawn is fire. Totally agree. That's why I had him here on the podcast. Thank you so much, Keith, and I really appreciate everybody who stopped by tonight to learn a little bit about Keith, kind of pick his brain a little bit, get to know him a little bit more. This was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun on this podcast. So with that, was there anything else you wanted to say, Keith?
Yes, I just want to thank you, George. I appreciate, you asked me to come on. It was an honor. It was a privilege. This is a great community. There's so many cool people here. It's just an amazing. I thank everyone for the support in the past, and just glad people popped in today. Thanks everyone for showing up, and thanks again, George. I really appreciate you asking me. Looking forward to the next one.
Thank you so much. And just a reminder for you guys, Kyle from Lake House Lawn Care will be on the podcast next week. It'll be on Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. So I look forward to seeing all you guys on there. That's going to be a really fun one. I can't wait for it. And once again, Keith, thank you so much. Everybody who watched, thank you so much too. And we'll see you next week. All right?
Yep. Just a quick to Scott. Tell him I love him too, even though he's a Boston fan. I do love you, Scott.
All right. Scott, Striperman loves you. All right, guys.
All right.
I'll see you later. Bye.
All right. Take care.